안녕하세요, 저는 Minah입니다. Okay, so I'm back and I'm here to tell you, or not tell you, but rather give you my very best advice on having an exam. I'm gonna do oral exams and written exams, and I've had a bunch of both. I've had about 15 or 16 exams the last 2 years, and I'm not exaggerating, because I did a lot of stuff like privately, like I would study on my own and then just take the exam and not go to school for it. I've had a lot of exams, I have a lot of experience, and for the most part I did alright, so I'm gonna give you my best tips on how I didn't stress out and die and stuff like that. Please be sure to also check out my video on how to study for your exams, and please do subscribe if you find them helpful, because it will mean a lot to me. Okay, so my very first tip, and this counts for both exams, is that you gotta relax. Seriously. So many people that I know, they really know their stuff, but then they go up to the exam and they freak out and their brain freezes and they get nothing done, and then they run out of the room crying because they didn't get to say all the things that deep inside they know. And it's just really sad to look at, because I believe, like I know that they know their stuff, so it's a little heartbreaking to actually see that happen. You have to learn to relax. I recommend you actually check out my video on how to deal with anxiety, because a few of the tips there actually, like, they actually, you know, they will help with being scared of exams too, because that's a kind of anxiety as I see it. But to sum that up, basically assure yourself of what you know. You know that you know this stuff. If you think that, oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to do this, think why? Why can't I do this? You know your stuff if you studied, and you probably will be fine. And here's the thing, here's a really key thing that you need to know. Typically when having an exam, the person examining you, whether it be your teacher or it's like a censor from another school or whatever, they're not out to get you. They're not out to ruin your career, your life, your future education. They're not there to just ruin it for you. They're there to help. They're there to get what you know. Like my mentor said to me yesterday when I had my final exam, he said that from my perspective, like my role in this is not to figure out what you don't know. My role is to figure out what you do know and to grade your knowledge on the subjects as of that. He was a really nice guy, by the way, but yeah, that's the thing. You gotta realize that they're not out to destroy anything that is your future. They just want to know what you know, because that's what you will be graded by. Another tip would of course be to prepare. This is a little like not so helpful. If you're watching this the morning of your exam and you're going to school right now, that's not gonna be too helpful, but I would recommend that you prepare whatever you have to do. If it's reading or studying, or if it's actually having a presentation or whatnot, just prepare just a little bit. If you do it the night before, then that's better than nothing. Practice your presentation to your mirror, for example, or your cat or wherever. Just prepare and know what you need to say, and even if you don't get to go through an entire presentation at once, just kind of go through the different points and know like ish what you know about it. And same with like written exams, prepare, really, say it out loud, speak your knowledge, and it will be more attached to your brains. Okay, so another tip of mine is actually to use all the like tools and help and rights that you actually get. I have no idea what it's like other places in the world, but in Norway we have a few rights and all those things. Like for example, with my oral presentation, we are no longer allowed to have like keywords on a PowerPoint presentation, which is extremely annoying, but we are allowed to have one page, like a support page of keywords, and whatever we want actually. We get one page, and I know a lot of people who don't even make a page. They just show up and they're like, I don't know, well, I'll wing it. And when you're not allowed to have keywords on the PowerPoint, you gotta make that page. Just whenever you are allowed to do something, if you're allowed to have like your notebooks or anything, just use all the stuff you can and really take advantage of all the tools that you're allowed to use. I also really recommend that you ask for help. Now, for example, when you get a task, if you have a written exam, almost like it should always be allowed to ask, I don't get the question. You're not allowed to ask like, is this right, or am I doing this right, or what's the answer, of course. But like when I have like a math exam, for example, I'm allowed to say I don't really understand the question. Or if I have like my media exam, when I was having my presentation and my teacher asked me something, I said, I don't really know what you're asking right now. And you have like the right to have them elaborate on the question. You're right to understand the question. Same when I actually got my assignment as well. I could have been like, okay, do you want me to do this or to do this? It's not like you're asking them what's right to do. You're just kind of trying to understand the task, because it's really horrible when people prepare and they are so ready and then they didn't really answer the question or the task or the assignment properly because they didn't really understand it. And that's sad. So just make sure you get it before you even start working. Okay, another tip for oral exams is that you should bring water, and I think this should be allowed almost anywhere, at least in Norway. We don't really have any rules on what you're allowed to bring, like food-wise or water-wise, to an exam. I don't recommend you bringing food to an oral evaluation, but you can bring water, and I definitely recommend it. One, it will help you calm down, and two, it will help you, you know, not dry out your mouth in sadness and tears. Just in general, water is good, and you will keep hydrated and you will not get that incredible headache, maybe. As for written exams, I see a lot of people who bring a lot of candy and sodas and energy drinks and chocolates and whatnot, and sure, those are fine. Actually, bringing chocolate is a good thing because you don't need that long boost. You just get a little bit of a boost of energy just to finish it off, and that's fine. But I really recommend that you actually bring some fulfilling foods, something that will actually make you full, at least if you're gonna sit there for 8 hours. Just bring some bananas or whatever, an apple, something that will actually help your body focus. Okay, the last one, the last tip that I'm gonna give to you before I leave is that you should take breaks. Generally, when you have a written exam, you're gonna be sitting there for quite the amount of hours, and in Norway you're always allowed to take breaks. Like, usually there will be one, like, teachers walking around the building, and teacher will walk around and they'll be like, okay, anyone need to go to the bathroom or fill their water bottle or just have a little stretch of the legs, and they will take out either one student or they will take out a few at once. It depends a bit. And I recommend you take those chances as often as you can, not just when you think you're about to die and you really need one, but just in general, take those chances and get some breaks, because you need the fresh air, you need the movement. If you don't have any circulation of the body, then there goes less oxygen to your brain and your brain will be less focused. Also, with oral presentations, now these don't last that long, like mine lasted for about an hour. I don't say that you should go to the bathroom in the middle of your presentation, but I'm saying that if you get lost, if you get confused, if you're starting to panic, stop, seriously, just stop and look at your notes and take a little, like, take a deep breath and drink some water. Because in my experience, from my like 8 oral exams or so, my teacher always said, like, whenever I was being stressed out, they just said, it's okay, just take a break, breathe, hey, have some water. They would be very helpful and nice about that. Maybe your teachers won't actually ask you to do it, but you're allowed, you should always be allowed to just take a break and breathe. Just breathe and relax and find your footing. Because if you start to get lost, you gotta stop before you run away into the wilderness and never find your way back. Oh, okay, one more tip, like one last tip, and this wasn't even on my list, but I just remembered that it was helpful. Use your personality for what it is. This is more of an oral exam kind of thing, but I remember, like, my examiners were really happy with the way I presented it. Lively and more natural and just kind of actually in a way that they can follow. Their job is to pay attention, so they can't really not pay attention, but it's a lot easier for them to be engaged in what you're doing if you do it in more of an articulate kind of way. Wave your arms, illustrate with movements and whatnot, make it engaging for them. Pretend that you're their teacher. They will like you more, I guess. I don't know. It's not really supposed to count, but, like, at least for me, part of my actual marks of competence, I guess, would be to have a orderly and structured and good presentation. That's actually one of the things that I would be graded by. So having one that they could actually pay attention to by making it interesting is a good thing. Alright, those were all my tips. I really hope they help. If you have any more exams, I have a few oral ones, maybe. We have a random draw every day. But I really hope you will be able to do it, because I believe in you. I believe in you. You just have to work. Please check out my other video on how to study for your exams, because I feel like it's actually helpful. And really though, please do check out my video on how to deal with anxiety. Not for the views, but because I think it will be helpful, because I really do put my very best advice in these videos. Now I have to go to work because I'm running late, and that's bad. But yeah, good luck. I believe in you. Fighting! I'll see you next time with some more random videos, maybe life advice, maybe not. And have a good one. Good luck. Annyeong! Annyeong!